Right now I'm working on some new radiator support brackets. These go on the bottom of the radiator on the chassis, and you stick the radiator in here. So as you can see, they've rotted out, they're terrible, they're gone. So it's a huge problem for EF owners because you can't get this anymore, just like old crap. So I'm making some new ones. Here's some work in progress. I just had these plates cut out, and I'm gonna take all the metal off of these, all the rust off. So I'm just gonna have this rubber, and then I'm gonna stick it in the hole, just like silicone it on or whatever. Maybe get some new ones made sometime, but for now. And then just shape these like the old ones. And that's it, so let's get to work. New bracket's done. Fits perfectly, then you just stick this in, the old rubber, and it's done. Now for some paint. Alright, so here's what I've been working on so far. I've been getting the motor prepped, like really everything plugged in, everything working, so I got pretty much the harness down, all the connectors are right, everything's plugged in, so now I just have to wire tuck, which I really wanted to do because I don't want wires everywhere and ugly and shit. So first off I did this side for the headlights and everything else. I came through the fender here. This has like factory holes already, so why the hell not? Nicely taped it up, put this plastic loom thing around it, came through here. Now I just gotta wire all the stuff up, extend any wires. I gotta do like the ground, because it has like, this car has like this ugly ground splitter thingy or whatever. So I'm just gonna cut it off, solder a nice fat wire on it, and crimp like a connector on the end and just bolt it there. I'm gonna do that, still gotta do that side. I've also been working on this main harness because there's a lot of wires, so I made them came up here just like the usual fuse box and this plug and this main plug. So I modified this bracket a bit so it sits nicely flush against this, painted it black, and I'm gonna just make all the wires come up here and around down here, then back here, and then I'm gonna have a bracket right there where the heater matrix bolt goes, and I'm gonna have them go over there just on the firewall. I have a bracket for that, so then I'm just gonna have all this come down into the loom, like all this down into the loom, and everything taped up, and it should be good, nicely tucked. You're not gonna see anything in the back, you're just gonna see this part coming up here, and that's it. So I've also been plugging back like these hoses for heater matrices and everything, so I also painted this bracket, made it all nice. I also made these brackets for the radiator because my old ones rotted out, so these are gonna go nicely there. They use the old rubbers because I don't have any others, of course. You can buy this, so there's that. I've already taped up a couple of wires with the like awesome loom tape, which makes it all cool. I did it here, I did it here, and it looks really good, so I'm gonna do everything here. It's gonna be nice and sweet. So let me just explain the wiring a little bit, because some of you may be wondering how to convert a dual carb Civic to a multi-point injection, newer model, whatever, or at least multi-point injection if you want to do that. So I used a dual point injection harness because that's all I could get my hands on. It was cheap, so basically it came in like an European 1.5. I think it was like Carb but 2 injectors or something like that. So basically what you have to do with that wiring harness is wire up the distributor. It's missing like 2 wires. I think it's for cylinder position sensor or something like that, which you have to wire in. And you also have to change 2 wires on the ECU side. And then the sensors, like most of the sensors, actually plug in like these two. I just changed this plug over to a newer one because the old ones are like this ugly yellow crap, and these are nice and silver, grey, whatever. Like the throttle position sensor also fits directly, but and this one for the map sensor also, but you have to like change 2 wires around on the throttle position because it's like backwards. So that's all you have to do, like repin it. Then I also rewired the alternator It's pretty simple, you just have to follow a wiring diagram, there's plenty of those on the internet. And then this was like a mystery wire. There's like, on the old motors from these Civics there was like a sensor on the back of the block to start the actual fan. It's like a fan switch, and it has this style of plugs on it. So I was wondering where to put it, and there was no plug for the thermostat housing sensor. So so I looked it up online, and you have to rewire for a plug to go on here. So that's pretty much it. Then I also had to wire in the O2 sensor, but you can notice this is like a one wire O2 sensor, and I have a P28 ECU. So supposedly it doesn't work with that, or at least it doesn't work well, so you have to have a 4-wire O2 sensor, but I hear you can disable that on the ECU if you have somebody to chip it. So we're gonna see about that. Maybe I'm gonna get another O2 sensor and just make it legit. Tore off the injector harness of the old harness. It was like OBD2 harness, and I just pulled all the wires out. I think it's like it's these ones. So each wire is one injector, and they go to the ECU, and then you have like the main power 12 volt for the injectors. You can wire it to the old power for the injectors, but for some reason it's not working for me. And one of the reasons may be my main relay is not grounding out somewhere, it just doesn't work. So then you don't get any power to the injectors, and you don't get any power to the fuel pump. So I was having that issue, so I just put both to some random 12 volt and the car runs. But I have to figure that out. It may be a bad ground, or maybe something in my wiring, because I know it's a mess. Next we have this mess right here. Super annoying. Basically I have newer style clocks like SI, the 130 horsepower model. I had to repin this main connector, which was super annoying because like I got the harnesses and everything and it wouldn't plug together, so annoyingly enough I had to repin, but that's okay. My main issue right now is this box here, this brown box. I think it controls like all the blinkers and brake lights and stuff like that, but it has this weird square plug hole. God damn it, there's so many wires. This has this square hole, but most of the other boxes have like this style of plug, so I'm just gonna put the old box from my dual carb on here, because I think this wiring harness has like for heated windows or for electric seats and all of that shit, so I'm not gonna use any of that, so I'm just gonna change this brown box over. And then I also have to figure out the rest of this for the rest of this harness that goes into the back of the car, because right now I just have like a wire going in there into some random 12 volt for the fuel pump, and I still need to wire the fuel sender, and I have to fix these grounds because it's a bit messy. But that's pretty much it for here. Everything else plugs in basically, and there's the ECU. I have to mount it somewhere and just tidy up everything and start putting it up on the dash. So yeah, I'm gonna be changing this out right now, and then I can start assembling the engine. I want to put the radiator on and all that stuff, so I can fire it up and actually have it running for minutes, so I can see what's going on, how it works, because it has like a little bit of a hard time starting, even though it's kind of torn apart. So I guess we're gonna have to figure it out. Here's the difference between the two like control units. One says running light and one says lightning and alarm. This is the one that came from the dual carb. This is the newer one I got, but it has all of these plugs, and it doesn't have anything back here, which this one does, and just this regular one in the front. So here we have my old harness, and you can see there's a plug back there, and this one plugs in, so I'm just gonna use this one from this thing, and hopefully everything works. I'm putting my wiring back together, all up here, fuse box on, everything cleaned up. I made like new ground terminals, stuff like that, and then I have to get these wires for the fuel pump and sender from the back here. I still gotta join these connectors. You can see there's more pins on this one than on this one. This is for dual carb, there's no pump terminal. And then I also noticed, where does this plug go to? It kinda looks like the main relay plug. Well, that would explain why my fuel pump's not priming and why I don't get power to the injectors, so I'm gonna have to get one of those relays, or maybe a converter for a newer type relay. I'll look into it. Cleaning some hoses with the engine cleaner. Progress update here. Got the cooler on, the old one, hopefully upgrading to aluminum sometime. I did some hoses, whatever, tucked up some wiring, working on fender tucks. And had to replace this water neck here, because the one I had on the head was like this. And I put on the dual carb one from the EF because, well, the hose is like this and I wanted to keep these hoses, so looks good, polished it up. Also got my brake booster in, so that's good. So I got the main relay now, so I actually have a fuel priming and everything, but I tried starting it a couple of times, and first try it would start really hard, and then it would start and the rest would go up, and then it just dropped down and it would die. So I was like, what's going on? And then the fuel pump relay thing fuse popped, so okay. Tried to plug in the pump into other pins, burned other fuses, so pretty much figured out it's the pump and it's brand new, so that's super annoying. I finally assembled the whole motor on the Honda, put the radiator on, hoses, everything. Put just some straight water in it, so it's gonna flush everything out and bled it, kinda. So it runs pretty good, but idle is a bit high, maybe some bubbles in the idle. And I also need to get a 4-wire O2 sensor, ordered that one. Everything else is pretty good. Once everything works well, I'm gonna finish the cables and wire the O2. And this mount is sketchy like this, because nobody told me it was gonna be like that when you swap it. And it's pretty crap, it bounces all over the place, and we're gonna have to buy a new one.
Okay, I got a question. Can you put this car on the rain and put this BMW inside so we can fix it?
No, I don't have any axles, so and I don't have any clutch cables, so I guess not. Yeah, I also figured out why my fuses were burning out. The fuel pump fuse was burning out because right there the fuel pump level float is grounding out on the gas tank, and for some reason the gas tank has 12 volts, I guess, from the pump, so yeah, every time you turn the key it will burn the fuse. And I unplugged the level sender and the car starts and it's fine. So problem solved, but not really, because now I don't have any level, and maybe we'll have to drop the tank, which is super annoying. Shit. Doing anything for a few days, I was away, medical problems and shit, but I just received this package, and guess what it is? It's an O2, original Denso, it's in there. It even got NTCs with it, so I'm gonna replace this, because this is a 4-wire, I have the 1-wire right now, and with the P28 ECU you need a 4-wire, so bought this one from Germany, pretty cheap, and started debadging, and I took the fucking chrome off, because it used to have this heinous chrome on. Hell no, not on my cars. I'm also doing some suspension work, that's gonna be next video, because I'm gonna be receiving a shit ton of parts. So we're gonna be wiring this in, and hopefully then the car runs pretty good. So it idles right about here, and when it warms up just a little bit more it's gonna drop, and then it's gonna go up and down, so yeah, it drops revs pretty bad. So we gotta figure out what's going on. Now I'm grinding out the diagnostic wire and I'm counting the blinks. So you just turn the ignition on and then you count the freaking check engine lights. 1, 2, 3 long ones, that's 30. and that's a 6, so 36. Let's see what that means. So yeah, I went and looked up code 36 and it didn't show up anywhere, and then I searched around more and it showed it's a code for traction control, so yeah. Does it look like a car with a fucking traction control to you? What the fuck? So then some other people said injectors, which kind of makes no sense because, well, yeah, I didn't do shit to the injectors, it's the same shit as it was before. And some other people said TPS, so I guess we're gonna screw around with this a little more. And so I took the IAC off just as a prank, as a goof, because I wanted to see what's going on. And well, let's just say there's a fucking load of cake on this thing here, so I think maybe it's time we clean this up a little bit. Here's my crappy replacement rear bumper. I have to weld it up a little bit. It's a bit cracked here, but it's better than my other one because somebody smashed into it and it's all bent. But this support was cut, so putting together another rear bumper because my other one was smashed in. So I got one of these lights back in, got the best one, cleaned it up. It looks very shiny, and non-drilled through plastics here. So I also welded the bumper here because it was cracked, and it looks pretty good, I'd say. From this far away you can't even tell, so that's pretty good. Also this support we welded, it was a nightmare because it's made of like Japanese paper or something. Literally you touch it with a welder and it just makes a hole. It's junk, so let's weld it up. I got a problem with the other lamps because I got two sets, but they're all a bit rusty in there, and the bulbs won't come out because they seized in the socket, so I'm trying to loosen them up so I can fit that and put it on. We got also a little tiny rust problem here. Oof. Oh shit, that's a hole. Well, I think I need some epoxy. Alright, so right now I'm working on a theory why my engines are working like crap. So I started it, I was looking around, it was shaking, it was running crappy. And then I put my hand here, and these two runners were hot. Then I moved my hand here, these two runners were pretty damn cold. Because see, I can pretty much touch it. Oh yeah, this one's way hotter. So I was like, is this not firing? So I pulled the first wire, engine runs the same. So I was like, well, how about that? And then I like moved on. The second one was good, I think. The third one I pulled barely any difference. So I was like, what the hell's going on? So when I pulled the wire, I could hear the spark, but I guess it might be the plugs actually. So I pulled them all, and they're pretty good. So when you have spark and plugs, then your only next bet is fuel injectors. So honestly it might be that, so I'm gonna be looking into that. I'm gonna be testing these spark plugs and we'll see what happens. So spark plugs seem fine, and the next step was, are the injectors firing? So I took all the plugs out, I started the engine over a bit so it would squirt into the cylinders, then I went in for a smell, and this one has no smell of fuel. These three I think are good. Maybe this one's kind of weak, but this tree surely fire, I think, but this one doesn't at all. So I went and measured all the power wires, the yellow and black ones. They all get 12 volts. So either I'm not getting like ground from here to the ECU, or the injectors are bad. So pretty much I just gotta check the wires to the ECU. If those are fine, then I may have a bad or clogged injector, but that should be a pretty easy fix. So there's probably a thunderstorm, so let's make this quick. My crapped out injector, which is what was wrong with this, and I got a full set of injectors from a friend, also Honda guy, so you might see his car soon on this channel in a video, but I'm gonna put one of these in, hopefully it works, we're gonna test it out. Okay, new injector is in, everything seems to be good. Let's prime it. Let's prime this thing. I don't think we have a leak. It's a new day and it's sunny, yes. And yesterday the car didn't run even after replacing the injector, so it's kind of pissed off and just left it. So I was diagnosing it today, and no matter what I did, injectors, spark plugs, wires, anything, the cylinder wouldn't work. So I was like, is it head gasket? And as it turns out, it's not. I saw a post on the internet and somebody said, check the EGR, because it's on the fourth cylinder which is misfiring or not working at all. So I unplugged the vacuum, and I also unplugged this crap, whatever it is, and just looped it so it wouldn't be sucking air from here. And what do you know, the fourth cylinder started working. So yeah, obviously this has to go. It's possible maybe leaking, or it's sucking air from the fourth cylinder back inside, so none is getting in the cylinder, and it's super annoying. So this thing is gone, already working on a block off plate, and just a little bit more work, bit shaping, and it's ready to be installed, and no more EGR, bye bye. Okay, so we have the EGR delete plate, it's there, it's sealed, everything's good, and now it just chokes. It still has the weird idle, and when it put on the gas, it would just choke. It would like hesitate a lot, just bog down. And I unplugged the O2 sensor, and it's better, I guess, but I don't even get a check engine light for that, so I have no idea what the hell is going on here. Basically it still kinda runs like poopy at idle, but it works better in the RPMs, and I think the actual cylinders are firing now, so I guess that's a success? I don't know. We're gonna keep figuring this out, but that's it for now, and I'll see you in the next one.